Hey everybody, Larelia here on this very cold winter day in January. So uh, I'm trying to see how's the best way to do this so you can see me and the sun not be in my eyes. So where we at? I think we're at day 20. The government shut down. And so my message to you today. Back in 2018, I did a video saying that your credit score, no, you being debt free. Hello from Baltimore. How you doing, Stacy? Stacy. I did a video saying that your credit is relative to your income. And it's still here on my channel. I'm gonna try to link it or put it underneath below this video. And I was basically saying in that video that you being debt free is really based on your income, because as long as you have money coming in and you've already repaired your credit, you've rebuilt your credit, but as long as you have money coming in, you can always pay your credit off. You can always pay your debts off. And then of course, you'll keep that high credit score. And so I said in that video that if you take that income away, you're not going to have that high credit score. And a lot of people didn't like the video. I got a high number of thumbs down because, see, what happened is that your credit experts, because in that video I talked about why you need to focus on raising your income. In that video I was telling people that you need to focus on multiple streams of income. Yeah, okay, I get it. All right, a lot of jobs check your credit now, but listen to the message. In that video, I'm not talking about income from a job. That's good. You have income from a job. That was the whole point of the video, is that if you take that income away from that job, that you are going to be back in debt. So in that video, I was telling people why it's so important to do something on the side, whatever it is that interests you. Investing in real estate, creating investments, starting a business, creating an asset that can generate you income. Listen to what I'm saying. Creating an asset or buying an asset that can generate income. Money comes from people. Money comes from assets. Most people have only been told that money comes from a job. What does this have to do about the 800,000 federal workers who have been, thank you, how you doing? What does this have to do about the 800,000 workers who are out of work? If any of them are hurting financially, is because of the advice that they have been given. Many Americans have been given. Work a job, save your money, get out of debt, cross your fingers that you stay out of debt. See, most financial experts tell you that. Oh, put together a budget, save your money. Always tells me exactly. Diane said that her mother always told her, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That is true. And I think we are learning now. Many Americans have did that. I've told you all in 2018, before the government shutdown, I said financial changes are happening. The way you once knew the world, the way you once, your grandparents, your parents lived in this world financially, it no longer will exist. People who are thinking that, oh, once the government shutdown is over, things will fall back in place. No, they will not. We are in a new economy. Change is happening. Did you ever think 20 years ago that you can get a telephone in your hand that is portable and you can get someone to pick you up? That's Uber. Who would have thought 20 years ago you could do that? Who would have thought 20 years ago that if you wanted to stay and have accommodations outside of a hotel and stay in a townhouse or a rented house, that's Airbnb? 20 years ago, we didn't have that. And that's the same thing what is going on now financially in America. Those days are over with. If people really think, oh, all I have to do is just get out of debt. Oh, all I have to do is just raise my credit score. Things are going to be okay. Yeah, that's good. That's temporarily. I live as cheap as humanly possible. Okay, well, I mean, I get it. I understand fiat currency. Person was saying about the dollar being worthless, and I totally get that. And they also was saying they live as cheap as possible. It really is up to you. I've said in other videos prior to this that I'm in a season of prosperity. And that's why I said right now, a lot of people are hurting financially. And those same financial experts who have told you, budget your money, save for a rainy day, don't buy the latte, make coffee at home, focus on your credit, live modestly, they have multiple streams of income. Them same advisors who are telling you that have multiple streams of income. But then they come to you and they tell you to take that one little stream of income that you have and just live like a hermit. And that's why the person said they live as cheap as possible. I don't believe in living cheap as possible. I believe in living based on what your income can provide you. And that's why I focus on always raising my vibration so I can make sure that I am always in alignment of making money, because I understand you need money to live. Many people have bashed me before because I said, screw your credit. I totally get it about you wanting to rebuild your credit, but screw your credit if you ain't got no income. Because many of the articles are saying now that those same federal workers who don't have a job are going to have to use credit as a means of making ends meet, as a means to pay bills, buy food. So there you go. See how your income is relative to credit? Because ain't nobody telling nobody, yeah, fix your credit and also make sure you're also bringing more income into your household outside of your job. See, when I was saying it, people were bashing me. Oh, you're so focused on money. It's not all about money. As you can see, it's about money. It is really about money. People are hurting. It is about money. It is almost like taboo to even, celebrate yourself, on social media if you are connected to people who have a job. Because now it's like, oh, you shouldn't do this, that, and the other, because there are people who are hurting. Like I said, that's why I make sure I am not in certain circles where people gonna make me feel bad because I am working to create more income for myself. And believe you me, money's still circulating. Money is still circulating. I just recently did a video, if you're new to my channel, about a real estate deal that I have where the investors I'm working with, they are looking for more properties. I just told you, this year, regardless of what some government shutdown going on, I'm looking to purchase some real estate notes. I'm already stacking my cash for that because I understand money comes from two places, people and assets. So I'm always going to make sure that those pots are always filled, always filled, always filled. Real talk. Now I'm going to share something with you all. Real talk. Recently, right before right before the holiday, a loved one of mine passed away. And that person didn't have life insurance. And I had to assist my family with helping to pay that burial expense. I was able to do that without it hurting my pockets. Nothing changed over the holiday season. I didn't have to go to my kids and say, "Oh well, because this family member died, and we have to contribute to the to the funeral costs. You know we can't do this." And you know it's much bigger. And I know a lot of people like, "Oh, I don't do Christmas. I don't buy." It's bigger than that. During holiday season, it's just being able to, take part of things that you like to do traditionally with your kids. And there are things that we do as a family. And so nothing changed just because that happened. Why? It's because I am always making sure that income comes into my household and in my business on a regular basis. From many places. And so I say that to say, the day after Christmas, another family member of mine, dad, died. And the father did not have life insurance. His girlfriend that he was with for many years didn't have a policy on him. And so now we are in the second week of January. And that family member of mine is still not buried. And there are no brothers and sisters. He was the only sole child of his. And it's a financial burden. And let me tell you, that's why you have to be very cautious of advice that poor people give you. Do you know that this family member of mine, was getting advice from other family members to go get a bank loan? Who gets a bank loan for a funeral? Can someone tell me that? Who does that? And I text my cousin and I said, you know what? Don't go in debt for a funeral. Like, who do that? See, the only people who do that, and when I was talking to my girlfriend, is that people who have bad credit and lack financial literacy. And that's why it's so important to really understand on a micro and macro level on how money works in this economy. I've said it, and so because what will happen is that you will become a statistic like many other federal workers, where the only sole paycheck you have is from your job. Or you will be like so many other Americans that if any type of life experience or of shortcoming happen, it can literally put you in dire straits. And so my message for you today, my thing is, hey, those who are not getting, a paycheck, I would really hope that now they are open and in tune to wanting to learn how things work in this economy. And if you are not affected by this, now is the time to really understand what's going on around you financially on a micro and a macro level. The days of how this economy worked when your parents grew up or when your grandparents came up, is no longer there. We are truly in a new economy, and I really hope people see this. So my message for you today, one may say, well, Aurelia, what do I need to do? What do I need to do if I don't want to be a statistic like many of the 800 workers, federal workers? Well, one is Focus on finding some avenue where you can bring an additional income into your household. You know, the only people who don't need... Exactly. I mean, many people don't know is that it is cheaper to pay for a funeral while you're living than it is when you die. But, based on the comment that the person just wrote, many people don't do that. Many people do not prepare for their death prior to them passing away. Now, I know for myself, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I have a burial plot and this, that, and the other. I have life insurance, but I have not gone as far as buying a burial plot, and what have you. But there are people who do it. And the person who made that comment, is right. The only people who don't really need life insurance is those who prepare beforehand. But it really is, life insurance is to also if you have assets, to allow you to pass those assets on to your family without and creating a legacy. So insurance can be more than just burial. I think a lot of people just think that, and they just think, the ability to bury your family, and although that is important, but insurances also can be used as a legacy component too. And that is a much bigger conversation, especially for those who are just living paycheck to paycheck and don't even have life insurance, or the ones who have life insurance, but it's from their job. They're not focusing on legacy. And that's why I said, in the economy we're in now, those are things that you should be looking into. Like I said, the way that the world 10 years ago, 15 years ago, what your parents told you, what your grandparents told you, is gone. It's never coming back. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump, or the current president we have. It's much bigger than that. The world is changing, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Lord knows what February is going to hold in regards to those people who depend on food stamps. Right now, I think the Democrats are trying to pass a bill that lenders cannot foreclose on federal workers who are not getting paid. My husband recently told me that there was some segment on TV where a person was a federal worker, and I know there are some banks who are saying that if you are affected by the government shutdown, credit card payments aren't due, mortgage payments aren't due, they're delaying them. And then there's some banks who nah, we want our money. And so that particular television segment talked about this person, I think it was a gentleman, I didn't see it, where he was saying he's affected by the government shutdown and he can't pay his mortgage. So that clearly tells you, see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of stuff is changing. Your financial experts, of course, if you're dependent, you need to make sure they're okay. Well, I guess so. My thing is this, a lot of things are changing. People blame it. Oh boy, it went away so quick. I didn't see that, but I guess I'll try to see it before. Do you work? Yes, Kim. I do. This channel right now, I have over 300 videos of help, about credit, helping you rebuild credit, helping you get rid of debt collectors, helping you raise your credit score. I have all types of resources. I currently right now, do still assist people with their credit, but along with that, I'm helping you, increase your income too. So my thing is this, I am unapologetic with telling people, yes, let's raise your credit score, but let's get you also working towards getting some money as well. Y'all gonna start a fight on him. Hey, the commenter just said the Democrats set y'all up, gave y'all all that free stuff. And now, and now, y'all depended on them. You about to start a fight up in hell. I ain't even gonna touch that one, because we'll be here all day about them government handouts. But hey, I mean, it's so many ways I could go with that one. So many ways I could go with that one. But back to the lady Kim who mentioned about the credit. Go to creditboost.yourmoneymentor.com. Put your information in there. Right now, I am currently assisting people with their credit. Like I said, the info will be in that information, and it will also give you on my email communication list so you can learn more about what I am doing. But back to what the commenter said, I mean, that's a heavy one right there. That's a heavy one. I mean, one may say, well, you're right. You can't depend on no one. And that right there is is a true statement. I was recently just talking to somebody. You can't depend on no one to feed you. And that's with anything. Don't have to do with the government. I mean, it just has to do with life. I mean, I see so many people who sit around looking for opportunities because they feel like, oh, so-and-so is going to help me. Don't get me wrong. I understand networking is powerful. Who you know is powerful, but also having the ability to also create your own paycheck and feed yourself and your family. Like, I don't know about you, but I am never going to be that person who only, got one way to do stuff. It's like my mother said, it's only a poor rat that only got one hole. That's the truest statement. If you only got one way to be able to do business, or one way that you create an income from just your job, that's, both of them, you're dependent on one thing. So it's not a job thing. It's just the idea of you only have one thing. You can have a business, and if your business only has one way of creating income for yourself, oh well, because if someone takes that away, or regulations change, or the way the world changed. I mean, social media changed changed a lot. Social media changed a lot of things with the way people do business, and how business owners can create relationships with customers to make sales. And also that also has to do with e-commerce. E-commerce changed a lot of things as well. So you think about Toys R Us that's no longer with us, and Circuit City, and so many others who were not able to change with how the world is. So, and you think about those companies, they failed because they only had one way. So that's why I said the economy is changing. It's so much bigger than 800,000 federal workers don't have a job. The point that I'm making is that we're in the economy now where the one thing is not possible. You just can't have one way of doing stuff if you're in business. That's a good point. Commenter said food stamps should only be for the elderly and disabled. It's like I say, it's so many ways to go with that. But I get it. Most people feel like if a person is able-bodied, an able-bodied person, then they should be able to go out and get a job. That's really where that statement is coming from. But you have to understand, before we do that, and I can't catch the name of the commenter, we would have to basically transform the whole educational system. That's why I'm really not for that statement that welfare should only be for the elderly and disabled, because you got to understand, if a person went to school for 12 years, there's a certain way that they're conditioned. Have you looked at the world lately? Many of these kids who are in school now, they can't think for themselves. Like, they literally cannot think for themselves. And a lot of that, and I know one may say, well, you know what, they got parents, everything's not on the school. Think about how long does the mortgage... Good question. And I know I'm everywhere, so I apologize with how I'm doing this video. Commenter said, is there some type of relief? Right now, they're trying to pass a bill that hasn't gotten passed now. They're trying to pass a bill to give those who have to make those payments to finance companies, mortgage companies, that if there is a government shutdown, the payments don't have to be due. But I don't think that bill has passed. And my thing is this, I mean, I don't really know, the process of bills, but isn't there a process? Like, wouldn't that even take time? Like, I have to look into that. I mean, I know it was introduced, and I saw, a little bit on the news about it. The Dems were, they're trying to introduce a bill. But I'm thinking that would take some time. But currently, there's nothing in place right now. Demetra says that she can't afford, but this thing is like the comments come up so fast that I can't see it. Wait, let me see. Exactly. So that's why I said I didn't want to co-sign on the statement about only welfare should be given to the elderly and the disabled, because as long as we have an educational system, which is the way it is, where they condition you for 12 years on a certain way to think, and then you get out of school, because schools are still teaching the old model of the economy of the world. So there are still the education and welfare. I agree. See, that's it. So that statement I agree with. If we're going to say the welfare system, if we're going to say that we need to do something with welfare, both systems need to be reconstruction, education and welfare. Because really what you have, is back to what I was saying, the school system, exactly. School systems are still teaching kids, go to school, after you finish school, go to college, secure a job, and then when you get out of college, secure a job. And we all know that model is over, because even if you do decide to go that way, you have to accumulate debt. And see, so now you're in a cycle where you're on the rat race. It's what Robert Kiyosaki calls the rat race. You have to work to pay off the debt. And in order to get out of debt, the only thing you've been taught is to have a job. And so when people come across information and I'm telling them about multiple streams of income, having alternative ways of creating and making money, and that is not all about credit, they think I'm talking with two heads, because they ain't never heard it. Their financial experts are telling them stuff that's been around for 50 years. Work, save, put money away for a rainy day, don't buy the lattes, make your lunch and your coffee at home. I mean, it's the stuff that's been regurgitated me personally, I know for 25 solid years. I mean, I'm in my mid 40s. I've been hearing that same rhetoric for 20 years since I've been 20. So I know for 25 years that same rhetoric is still going on. And that's why as I started to mature financially myself, and when I started to educate myself, I knew that that information was outdated. That's why I'm a big proponent of, you ain't got to listen to me. I'm going to show you the source where to go and look. I'm not like these other people who going to tell you this information exists, but I'm not going to tell you where to go. The information is there. That's how I, like I said, my eyes got opened. And I said, nah, this ain't working. No, because I did that. I put money away, and I put money away for a rainy day, and I lost my job. And now my emergency fund is exhausted, and the bills are still due. The debt collectors are still calling. My credit score took a hit. That's why I knew that information didn't work, because I've been through it. It didn't work. So I wanted to know, how are people thriving, and here I am surviving. And I did what they said. I did it. I went to school. I was an okay student. I ain't never get suspended, never got kicked out of school. Went to college. Exactly. So I was sold that too. Went to college, graduated, got a good job, was working right in World Financial Center, right next to the World Trade Center. I did that. And I noticed it was a bunch of baloney. As they say, malarkey. It was a BS. Because I was still, just getting by. And then on top of that, if there was a financial problem that happened, for example, lost my job or what have you, there you go. So I know that information that they telling people, it doesn't exist. And that's why I try to tell people something different, but they don't get it. Like I said, because it don't sound like the rest of their financial experts. But what they don't know, their financial experts got a lot of pots they pulling from. Like if they financial experts showed them how they financially making money, it'll be totally different from the information that they're sharing with them. And I had to learn that too. I had to when I got into business and I saw that people had a lot of plates spinning. They weren't just spinning one thing, they spinning a lot of plates. But they selling you on, they only got one plate they spinning, and that's the only way they doing stuff. Nah, man, that's not how it is. Like, I'm here to tell you, and we already 30 minutes in. It's time for an awakening. It's time for an awakening. Really is. And this is the time where you need to get your money right. You need to learn how money works in this financial system on a micro and macro level. And I tell you, if you're willing to be awakened, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. And like I said, I'm taking people on a journey. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. This person said they're a social worker or something, or $100,000 in debt. Like, mathematically, person, on their best day, if they're making 50 or 60,000, they literally couldn't even pay that debt off with the interest on it. And we not even talking if it is unsubsidized, if it's a private loan. Have you seen? Yes, Kim Washington, you need more pots. You make sure you go to creditboost.yourmoneymentor.com. There, I'm telling people how they can get many pots. I'm trying to show y'all how y'all can rebuild your credit. Learn about the tax system. Okay, all right, if that's the global dream. But now it's time for you to get your dream. I'm trying to share with y'all. And I know a lot of you all saying, well, okay, because when y'all see what I'm sharing with y'all, y'all say, well, you know what? I don't like to sell. I'm going to tell you one thing about not selling. Okay, Demetrius, credit boost. No www.http, but just put creditboost.yourmoneymentor.com. After this live, I'll put the video below if you're still having problems. There, I'm going to show you, I'm currently partnering with a company that, along with myself and the company, we're trying to show you all how to understand how this world works on a micro and macro level. How to eliminate debt, how to raise your credit score, how to get out of, rebuild your credit. Also, how to create some income from yourself. That's the biggest piece. How to currently if you have a job, how to currently understand the tax law to be able to not give so much money to the government legally. Nothing illegal. Nothing I do here is illegal. How to legally learn and leverage the tax law system so you can get more money into your paycheck. And so the thing is that you have to be willing and open to learn. And see, a lot of people will say, I'm telling you, what you're going to embark on if you're willing to be awoken is you're going to get uncomfortable. All right. Well, like I said, the if you want to create some income for yourself, go to creditboost.yourmoneymentor.com. I'll put the links below this once this video processes. But I'm going to tell you right now, be ready to be uncomfortable. See, a lot of people want change, but they want to be comfortable. It's nothing comfortable. Like, you know how they say, and to create a diamond, it's a piece of coal that's pressurized. Where does olive oil come from? Olives that are pressured and creating oil. So there's people who want change but ain't willing to change. And what's happening is that the economy is changing right around you. And so it's like that saying says, if you don't move on, if you don't know when to move, the Lord is going to move you. And that's what's going on now. Like, many people didn't want to see that the economy is changing. And it's changing. 800,000 workers. They see, it done changed. And it's going to continue to change. Even if them workers go back to work. It's going to be another hiccup. We are in changing times, people. Once Toys R Us went out of business, it was a wrap. That's what I knew change was coming. And I don't mean to be silly, but I mean, come on, Toys R Us, Jeffrey, and he coming back. Jeffrey's coming back, but he's coming back restructured in a different way. Toys R Us is going to come back restructured in a whole nother business model to be able to survive in this economy. It's going to come back, but it's going to come back in this economy. Not in the old model that when it was created, that model couldn't survive. Lord and Taylor in New York City, store been around since 1910 or 16 or something like that, closed down. Come on, people. Come on. Good luck with that. You gonna wait for that? You gonna wait for Trump to sign a bill? You gonna wait for Trump to sign a bill? I mean, even if he signs the bill, there you go. Sears is on the brink. Man, I remember Sears in its heyday. I don't know. Because even if the bill gets signed, y'all go back to work, and it's gonna be something else. But in the meantime, I hope those who do end up going back to work, I hope they getting their money.